How to win your personal injury case in one day. I know that sounds like clickbait, but believe it or not, it is possible. So saw this topic elsewhere in other states, thought it was interesting. So I thought I'd give you my perspective, especially here in Georgia. So how do you win your personal injury case in one day? The answer is magistrate court, which is small claims court. But I want you to watch this video to the end because I'm going to give you the reasons why it might not be the best solution for your personal injury case. And in most, it isn't. So stay tuned to the end to find out whether your case is really going to be worth going into magistrate court to speed up the process or do it more traditional. So magistrate court, again, it's small claims court. You have small claims court in every state in this country. Now, it is different in every state. So here in Georgia, you can try a personal injury case in magistrate court. I assume it's probably going to be the same way in almost every state, if not every state. But check your local rules. Make sure you can, in fact, try a personal injury case in magistrate court. If you can, the great news is you don't necessarily need to do it with an attorney. Now, you may want to, and plenty of attorneys try cases in magistrate court, but you get better options there because magistrate court is used to having lay people, what we call pro se plaintiffs, trying their own case. So they're used to it. There's some training and things that they give to people to make it go smoother, evidentiary stuff to train folks to be able to try their own case. So it's set up better as a court system for people who try their own case versus having an attorney. But attorneys can do it as well. We've done it. We have not done a ton of them, obviously, but when the case warrants it, it's typically a situation where it's a big injury, it's a good case, but then it turns out that, thank God, the client really didn't need a lot of treatment, really didn't end up being that injured. So like a big wreck case, but thank God they weren't that injured. So now we got a case that it doesn't have a tremendous amount of value, and we don't want it for the client sit on it forever by going to state or superior court. Magistrate court's an option at that point. But again, there's some ways that you don't want to use magistrate court, so I'll explain those at the end. Now, what do you expect in magistrate court? In most magistrate courts, if not all of them, especially here in Georgia, it's the way it is, you're trying your case to a judge instead of a jury. That's why it's faster. Judge obviously knows the rules, doesn't have to have all that explained to them. There's not 12 people making a decision. It's one person making a decision, and it goes a lot faster. The other reason here in Georgia is there's no set discovery period. In state and superior court, it's an automatic 6 months normally. So you know the moment you file your lawsuit in state or superior court, you're not getting an award for at least 6 months. Now, trial lawyers know that it's really even past that first 6 months, it's probably another 6 months to 2 years before you're actually trying your case. But that's an automatic 6 months of delay doing all the litigation work. Don't have that in magistrate court. Good news is the rule does allow you to get some discovery time if you need it. But the whole point of magistrate court is you don't really need that. It's a case that doesn't require all this litigation. Let's just go and try the case now is the concept. So 1 day trial, that's the other benefit. So here in Georgia, you're going to go try it to a judge. It's going to be same day. The whole point is your case, you don't need a ton of witnesses. It's not as big. You can try it fast. It goes quickly with the judge. They're trying to get through a bunch of these cases in one calendar day. And in most courts here in Georgia, magistrate court is in session at night. So it's night court. Gwinnett County is a big one that has that. They don't start till 6 p.m., but they'll go till 10. So they'll have 40 people come in with cases. Some settle while you're there. Others quickly try to the judge. Judge makes a quick decision. It's kind of like what you see on TV with small claims. It's a little bit like that. Not all the hysteria and weirdness, but that's the concept. We can get through these things quickly, get a judgment. But you got to be careful. If you're not going to have an attorney, you've got to know the rules of evidence. Rules of evidence still apply in magistrate court. You have to know how to get your evidence in. So it might sound great. Oh, I'm not even going to spend money on an attorney. But you better show up, know how to get that expert report in, know how to get your medical records in, the police report, all the things that you need to prove fault and injuries and all of that to the judge, that all this is related and should be paid. You got to get it into evidence. Why? Because you're still going to have the other side who gets to defend the case. And if it's a car wreck case, for instance, insurance company is going to hire an attorney. You will be fighting your case against an attorney, and they will try to keep all of this out of evidence so you can't win your case in front of the judge. So be very careful when it comes to that. But otherwise, it's a great system because you can get in probably within 1 to 3 months of filing your case in magistrate court, depending on which court and what time of year and what the calendar looks like, you're going to have a trial date. And then it is done in one day. So it's really good when it comes to that, but it needs to be the certain type of case. And that leads to what I was teasing earlier, which are, what are the drawbacks? It's like everything in life. It sounds great, but there's always going to be drawbacks. So 2 big drawbacks. Number 1, it's got to be small enough of a case. Why? In Georgia, the limit is $15,000. So every small claims court across the country has a cap on how much an award can be in magistrate court. And believe it or not, Georgia is one of the highest at $15,000, which I think is way too low. I wish they would move that up, the legislature, so more cases could be tried through magistrate court versus having to go to a jury trial. It would save a lot of time. We've got a lot of backlog because of COVID with cases. It's taking forever for cases to get tried. This would really help. But again, check your local rules, because I've seen some jurisdictions as low as $2,500 is the cap, the highest award that you can get. You got a case with $5,000 in bills, you're not going to want to try your case in magistrate court in a jurisdiction that only allows a max of $2,500. In Georgia, might work. A $5,000 treatment cost case might be perfect for a Georgia maxing out the $15,000 award with a judge. But even at 15, you got to be careful. I think the highest I saw was 25,000, and I believe that was Tennessee or Kentucky. So check your rules. That is a big drawback. You are not going to be able to get your $1 million verdict. You're not wanting to try tractor trailer cases in magistrate court with hundreds of thousands of dollars in bills. That's not what this system is set up for. In Georgia, I typically say, somewhere between $1,000 up to $5,000. Maybe you could stretch to like 8 or 10 if you really just wanted to get the case done and didn't have any interest in waiting to do it in state and superior court. But it's a business decision that you got to make with that first drawback. Then the second one is also somewhat nasty. It is not final. So what? Oh my gosh, what does that mean? Well, unlike state and superior court where it's final minus some really difficult ways to appeal and that sort of thing, magistrate court gives an automatic right of appeal to the losing party. Within the first 30 days after the award is entered by the judge, the other side can file a notice of appeal, which vacates the judgment, pushes the case, transfers it to state or superior court, and then you as the plaintiff are forced by the defendant now to try your case to a jury in state or superior court, wiping out the prior judgment. No one gets to hear what that judge ruled. Now, the upside is you're not subject to the $15,000 cap anymore. So that tries to keep defendants from just appealing everything, because now they could get hit for more money is the argument. So, but that's a drawback. You got to know when doing this, because you don't want to be surprised. Wait, what a minute. I just got a judgment for $10,000 and they just appealed. You're telling me I have to do this all over again? And now it's in front of a jury? What? You got to be careful. So strategically, you got to make decisions on, do I want to run these risks of my cap being 15, an automatic right of appeal where I'm going to have to do this all over again, in the hope that I can try this case, win it in one day, very early on, to be done with my personal injury case. If you have an attorney, you want to talk through the pluses and minuses to make your decision. If you're thinking about doing it on your own, it's both those 2 drawbacks, plus can I really do this myself? Again, the good news of the appeal, though, is if you tried it on your own and you messed up and didn't get something into evidence properly, and therefore the judge ruled against you, guess what? You get to appeal. So you get a do-over. So you could always try it, see what happens, and then you could always appeal. You could win and think you're owed $10,000. Judge says, no, you're only owed $5,000. And you could appeal that judgment. So it goes both ways. It gives you a second bite at the apple, but it also gives that defense a second bite at the apple. So be very careful with that. Make sure you feel comfortable using this system. But that is how you win a personal injury case in one day. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe, comment below. Any questions on this topic or any other, I'd be happy to answer them as best as I can. Or if you have any other video ideas, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching.